you have a problem right now. Maybe it is a ceiling that you have hit in your business that you are unable to move past from the last few years. It may be a pattern in your relationship, it might be in your career, or it might just be that feeling that you are stuck, even if everything seems okay on the surface. Now, here's what every therapist, every coach, every self help book, and every manifestation course has told you to do with that problem. Understand it, analyze it, work through it, and push past it. And here is what none of them mentioned. That entire approach, every single technique you've been given to deal with your problems, is built on a mistake so fundamental, so invisible, that even the people teaching you don't know it exists. There is an ancient concept in the Upanishads which takes 10 seconds to understand, that's 10,000 years old, that can change everything when it comes to dealing with our problems in life. And the moment you see it, not just intellectually understand, but actually see it, you will never be able to look at your problems the same way ever again. Now, most people who try to apply Vedanta to their problems stop at the thinking level. They understand the concept, they nod along, and the next morning, the same pattern, the same ceiling, and the same loop. Why? Because they made the same mistake every self help approach makes. They worked on the problem without ever questioning who they think is having the problem. So, everything you have tried in the past, all of it is built on one hidden assumption that you are a person and you are dealing with a problem that is outside of you. And there itself lies the entire issue. By the end of this video, we will resolve this and we will understand one of the most important techniques that Adi Guru Shankaracharya taught and the ancient Upanishads speak of that can shift everything. Every technique teaches you how to deal with your problems, but Vedanta teaches you how to step out of your problems altogether by completely dissolving who you think you are. They are fundamentally different paradigms, and we need to go deep here to understand this. Every time you sit with a problem, you do something invisible. You merge with it. You become one with it. You say, I have a problem. And the I and the problem become one thing. At this point, you are no longer a person who has a problem, but you are the problem that is trying to solve itself. And it is an endless loop. That's why your problems keep on repeating. You might have had certain bad relationships in the past, but if you've observed, the new relationships that you have are somewhat similar. The same patterns repeat to people. If your parents struggled financially in the past, you can see that same financial ceiling on you right now. You can see that same patterns running in your life right now, maybe for the last few years, maybe for the last few decades also. This is how reality works. When we identify with something, we become one with it. When we assume something, it becomes our reality. All of this is happening at an unconscious level. The ancient rishis had a precise name for this. They called it ahankara, the ego identification. The moment the infinite self, the consciousness, the energy takes on the identity of a limited suffering character, every self-help system, they become it. They become one with it. The primary understanding of the rishis is that you are not the person to begin with. You are not one individual person at all. You are this expansive, limitless consciousness which has no boundary to it. It is that energy that you are that has temporarily taken a limited form. This is a fundamental missing understanding in all these self-help frameworks. They start with the assumption, they in fact reinforce the assumption that you are a limited being and you have a problem and you are trying to solve it. They might help at certain levels for certain people, but there is a fundamentally evolved approach, a higher approach to solve your problems. And there is a reason why you're watching this. It's not because the previous teachings, the previous frameworks did not work, but you know that they had a ceiling and there is something beyond that. With this, let's come to that ancient technique and that ancient understanding of reality. That is the teaching of Neti Neti. It's one of the powerful frameworks that Adiguru Shankaracharya uses in so many of his works, including Nirvana Shatakam. When he says, Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham, Nacha Shrotra Jihve, Nacha Grana Netre, Nacha Vyoma Bhumer, Na Tejo Na Vayu, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Shankara says, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the four aspects of the mind, I'm not the five fundamental elements of the planet, and so on. What he's fundamentally doing is that he's not only distancing and disidentifying from a problem, but he's disidentifying from the body, mind, and the individuality of the person itself. Because once you disidentify, and once you learn the art of disidentification, you have mastered your life at a level that most people can't even imagine. In the ancient Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the great sage Yagnavalka describes the nature of Brahman in this way. Every time somebody asked him what Brahman is, he gives the same answer. Neti Neti. Not this, not this. Not this body, not this mind. Not this emotion, not this thought. Not this problem. And most people misread this teaching as just a negation and as denial and some form of passiveness, but it's actually quite the opposite. By negating ourselves from what we are not, we are embracing who we actually are as that complete full essence of life, as that consciousness. And that's where the true journey of a seeker begins, when we understand that we are something beyond this body and mind. From that perspective, each and every one of your problems dissolve like how mist dissolves itself in sunlight. You don't even have to work on your problems. You will just begin to see them for what they are, and you'll begin to see yourself for who you are. By clearly seeing what you are not, what you actually are becomes self-evident. And this is universal, this is applicable for everyone. Now imagine someone who has lost someone that's close to them and who are grieving and who are suffering. And this is what I went through in my own life over a decade ago. I lost someone who was very close to me. At that point in time, that problem is so big. We are one with that problem, we are suffering, and we are in complete darkness. We can't see a way out. But imagine if that person begins to understand the wisdom of Vedanta. They start watching the grief instead of being inside it. They begin to create a gap. For first time in years, they see that there is a me that grief cannot touch. In that very moment, even if the grief didn't disappear, a gap is created. That may not be a spiritual realization, but it is a structural shift on how they operate. Vedanta discovered this truth thousands of years ago, and modern studies and research in many ways are confirming this. James Gross from Stanford, in cognitive reappraisal research, talks about how shifting your relationship to an experience changes how the brain processes it. It means when you change your relationship with your problem, when you see yourself as something which is separate from the problem, and problem is just a small temporary appearance in you, that very shift in your relationship with something changes how your brain processes it. It enhances your capacity to deal with it. With this, let's come to something which is very, very practical, which is very, very powerful. We call this Drigdrishya Viveka. It is the discrimination between the seer and the seen. And let's practice this together. Just sit straight and take a deep breath and let go and relax. And whatever you're seeing right now, you're watching this video, just pay attention to that. Just pay attention to my words and what is appearing on the screen. Here, the understanding that we need to have is that the seer and the seen are always different. The subject and the object are always different. Since you're watching this video, you cannot be the video. You cannot be this, right? There is a clear difference between what you're experiencing and the one who is experiencing it. That's the only understanding that you can have right now. Now, as you're watching this, your eyes are seeing this video. So this video and this visuals are appearing to your eyes. So this means then that the eyes, that are the subject, and the video, that is the object, are two separate things because they never can be one and the same. And you are the subject, that is the eyes, and the video is the object. Now let's take this one step further. Eyes themselves simply perceive the light and they just send the signals to the brain. Brain processes information and it creates an image within itself. At this level, the eyes are the object because the eyes are sending the signals and the brain is the subject which is processing the information. At this level, you are the subject, that is the brain, and the eyes are the objects which is an appearance to the brain or which is an object to the brain. If we take this framework a level further, brain itself interprets information and it creates an image. But that image appears on your mind. It is experienced in the mind. At this level, the brain is the object and the mind is the subject, right? I hope you're getting this. But at the highest level, Vedanta says, mind itself is an appearance in awareness. There is a witness within you, there is a calm, silent consciousness which is just experiencing everything, which is experiencing the mind also. Now, this jump may require certain level of attention and certain level of practice, but still you can begin to understand this. There is a dimension within you which is calm, which is serene, which is perfect, which is just seeing everything without getting itself entangled with anything. So at that level, you are the subject. You can never be the object. So even mind is the object to that consciousness. And all the problems that exist at the level of the brain and at the level of the mind, at the level of the body, not at the level of consciousness. When we begin to understand this, when we say Neti Neti, it means not this, not this. I'm not my phone because I'm able to see the phone and experience the phone. I'm not my body because my body and my eyes are just being experienced temporarily and it's being experienced in the mind. I'm not the mind also because mind itself is an appearance in awareness in my consciousness. So that consciousness is who I am. If I'm not my problems, then my problems have no power over me. They can affect the body and the mind, but not me. When we begin to make this a real understanding in our lives, everything changes. Everything we've covered today is the foundation of one thing, that unconscious creation is the problem. Unconscious creation is like you trying to solve your problems through all these tools of manifestation, law of attraction, self-help and so on. You need to move from unconscious creation to conscious creation by understanding that you are something deeper than who you think you are. You already know this because this is the truth. At some level, something within you already knows this and it is ready to awaken to this truth.